3 days after my daughter was born, a woman stormed onto my porch, ripped my baby out of my wife's arms, and declared she was taking her away to teach us a lesson. My wife was still bleeding from surgery. My newborn was screaming in terror. And that woman had no idea she had just picked a fight with the county sheriff. I'll start at the beginning because I need you to understand how fast peace can turn into chaos. My name's Jake Morrison. I've been sheriff of this county long enough to deal with violent criminals, drug dealers, and gang fights, but nothing prepared me for what was about to happen in my own neighborhood. My wife Sarah and I had just brought our daughter Lily home from the hospital. She'd spent 3 days in the NICU, tiny tubes and wires hooked up to her, but she pulled through. Bringing her home should have been the happiest moment of our lives. Sarah was exhausted. Her delivery was complicated. She needed surgery, and the doctor told her to rest for weeks. I took time off to stay with her to cook meals to keep her safe. We'd set up a chair on our porch so she could get some fresh air without straining herself. It was warm that afternoon, the breeze gentle Lily asleep in her arms. I kissed them both on the forehead before stepping inside to make lunch, glancing through the kitchen window at the perfect picture of peace. And then Barbara showed up. Barbara Whitman was the HOA president of Meadowbrook Gardens, a self-appointed queen who acted like she owned every square inch of the neighborhood. 60-something gray hair pulled back so tight it looked like it hurt always, with a scowl carved deep into her face. For years, she'd made people miserable, handing out citations for mailbox colors, fining families for kids playing too loudly, threatening to call child services over nonsense. But this time she went further than anyone could have imagined. I heard shouting and rushed outside. There she was on my lawn, jabbing her finger at my wife, who sat pale and trembling on the porch with our baby. "You're violating HOA rules," Barbara barked. "Breastfeeding in public view is inappropriate." Sarah, voice weak, tried to explain. I wasn't bothering anyone. The baby was hungry." "You're bothering me," Barbara snapped, "and if you bother me, you bother the entire community." I stepped between them. "Barbara, that's enough. She just gave birth 3 days ago. She's on our own porch. You need to leave now." She smirked. "I don't take orders here. I give them." And before I could even process what she was about to do, she shoved past me, lunged at my wife, and grabbed Lily right out of Sarah's arms. The sound that came out of Sarah was half scream, half sob, pure agony. "Give me my baby," she cried, trying to stand, collapsing back in pain. Lily's desperate wails filled the air. Barbara held my daughter like she was some kind of object, cold and smug. "I'm confiscating this child until you learn to follow community rules." Something inside me snapped. I've faced armed criminals, but I've never felt rage like I did in that moment. "Put my daughter down right now," I growled, my sheriff's voice cutting through the air. Barbara laughed. "Or what you'll call the cops. I am the law in this neighborhood." She turned toward her car, clutching my screaming newborn. My wife was begging me, nearly hyperventilating. "Jake, stop her. Don't let her take our baby." And for the first time in my life, I felt powerless. What if she got away? What if I lost them both? My wife broken, my baby gone. The thought almost paralyzed me. Almost. I ran after Barbara. "If you don't hand her over right now, I will arrest you for kidnapping." "You," she scoffed. "You're nobody." I pulled myself tall, locked eyes with her, and said it plain. "I'm County Sheriff Jake Morrison, and you are under arrest." Her face drained of color. Her hands trembled around my baby. Behind her, neighbors had started to gather. Mrs. Patterson from next door was filming, her phone raised high. "I can't believe what I just saw," she shouted. "She stole that baby." Mr. Rodriguez yelled for someone to call 911. Dozens of eyes burned into Barbara, no sympathy in sight. Her bravado cracked. She shoved Lily back at me like she was a hot potato. "Take your brat. But this isn't over." I held my daughter against my chest, whispering, "Daddy's here. You're safe now." Sarah reached out, tears streaming, cradling Lily back into her arms, rocking her as the sobs eased. But for Barbara, it was far from over. I held my badge high. "Barbara Whitman, you are under arrest for kidnapping, child endangerment, and assault." "You can't arrest me," she shrieked. "I'm the HOA president." "The HOA doesn't give you the right to steal babies," I shot back. By then, the flashing lights of squad cars filled the street. My deputies arrived, shocked when I explained what had happened. They cuffed Barbara while she screamed about persecution, while the neighbors, those she'd bullied for years, watched with grim satisfaction. In the days that followed, I dug deeper. What I uncovered was worse than I'd ever imagined. Families lined up to tell me their stories. The Johnsons fined $500 for a front door color that wasn't even against the bylaws. The Garcias threatened with child services because their kids played soccer in their own yard. The Chens ordered to remove their cultural decorations because Barbara didn't approve of them. She'd even called the police on the Wilson boys' birthday party, claiming it was a gang meeting. She wasn't just strict, she was a tyrant. The evidence piled high, and soon the district attorney had a case too big to ignore. Barbara wasn't just a nuisance, she was a criminal. The trial became the biggest spectacle the county had seen in years. The courtroom overflowed with neighbors and reporters. Mrs. Patterson's video played again and again, Barbara yanking my 3-day-old from Sarah's arms. Gasps filled the room every time. When Sarah testified, her voice broke as she said, "I thought I'd never see my baby again. It felt like someone ripped my heart out." Jurors wiped tears from their eyes. When I took the stand, I didn't hold back. I've dealt with killers, drug lords, thieves, but I've never seen anyone more heartless than Barbara Whitman that day. The defense tried to spin it, claiming she was enforcing community standards. But then Barbara herself took the stand. She said I wasn't kidnapping, I was temporarily confiscating the baby to teach them a lesson. The room went silent. You could see the disgust wash over the jury. Temporarily confiscating a newborn. That was her defense. It took them 2 hours. Guilty, kidnapping, child endangerment, assault. The judge looked straight at Barbara, voice like a hammer. In 30 years, I've never seen such callous disregard for the welfare of a child. What you did was not only criminal, it was evil. He sentenced her to 5 years in prison, 3 minimum before parole. He barred her for life from serving in any HOA and ordered restitution to every family she'd tormented. I watched as they led her out in handcuffs, her once smug face streaked with tears, begging for mercy. But no one in that room felt sorry for her. That was the moment it ended. The moment the woman who thought she could control everyone with fines and threats and power trips finally lost everything. And if you take one lesson from my story, let it be this. No title, no board, no HOA president will ever be above the law, especially when it comes to protecting family.